Hello and welcome to Hickory. My name is Justin. I'm the owner of Team 53. We've partnered with Coach Dave Academy to bring you these up-to-speed videos to hopefully help you learn the tracks a little bit quicker, or if you're returning short tracker, just kind of a quick refresher course to remind you some of the key principles of the tracks. So this one at Hickory, um, Hickory is like probably one of the quintessential late model stock tracks. They run here in real life. A lot of NASCAR stars have grown up and have raced here mostly because of its proximity to Charlotte. I mean, let's be honest, it's just a stone's throw away from a lot of the race shops and a lot of the race teams, so it makes sense. But as we look here at Hickory, this is a super old surface, so it's going to be rough on tires. There's quite a few bumps in it, but we can use those bumps as visual or cues for us to know what we need to do on the track and where we need to be. And there's different ways to think about things with that. So as we dive in here, we'll go out on track for qualifying. I've told it in a lot of other videos. If you're not tire heating, you're giving up time. So how do we tire heat? We swerve back and forth, gas, throttle, alternate, just like you're scrubbing off your tires in a real life. You get up through the gears. Remember, I am doing these setups with our Team 53 custom setup, so keep that in mind. We always look at speed at the start finish line here. If you're looking to kind of compare, we're at 97 miles an hour. So we start going around the track. You can see here right about the time we're going past the victory lane and where it says America's most famous short track on the track, we're going to start to turn in. So we see our turn in here, get a really hard turn in, lift, and then we're going to bring the car down, and I always try and set my right side tires right on these dash marks and then loop it down, and then kind of in the middle of the corner, there's like a spot where the corner kind of bumps out a little bit, and you go down into, it feels like kind of into a little bit of a valley. And if you're too far to the right, you're going to hit a bump and it'll shoot you up the track. If you're too far to the left, you'll grab the apron and it'll spin you around. So what you really want to do is work on catching kind of the left side right on that apron, and then there's a little bump there that when you catch it, the car will bottom out and it'll actually almost shoot the car up down the backstretch, is what I usually shoot for. So let's see. We're going to drive her in here for this qualifying lap. Right side's right on those dash marks, just like we talk about. And then you can kind of see from where I've run before, but there's like these little bumps here throughout this corner. And as you get into this little elbow here, pit entrance here, this is where you're going to look at throttling up completely. This is where you're going to look at doing everything that you need to do to be successful in this corner. So we come down here into the corner. We grab those left sides on the apron. Right here is that bump that I tell you about. So you go through that bump, and as you're going through that bump, you can throttle up. We'll do it at real time. You saw it there. It hit. Just as I'm going through that bump, I'm hitting the throttle to transfer weight. So we go through that bump, see a couple sparks, and then we just kind of let the car drive out of the corner like we would normally. We get her up to the backstretch wall, and then we're going to start to turn in here, definitely at the Hoosier. We're going to lift going in here pretty late. I'm taking a nice wide entrance, so the Carolina Simworks billboard, if you have those up, is probably about as late as you're going to want to go into it. Nice and wide entry here, and you're going to see me wide arc this, and then I'm going to bring it around, and right in here where this corner bumps out and then it gets really flat and shallow for the exit, where it gets really straight here, that's where you're going to get on throttle. Not before. You want to wait as long as you can. So now we're going to go straight off, and we'll just drive this car right off the corner, and get ourselves a nice 13.9 for our Q lap. So that's something that you want to look at there. Race trims for this car, pretty much the same. I did some nice long runs here just to kind of get you guys a little bit of framework. But the biggest thing with Hickory is going to be being mindful of your right front and your right rear, right? If you overheat one tire versus the other, you're going to have problems. Some of you guys are going to find this setup a little bit too free. Some of you guys are going to find it maybe a little bit tight for what you would like. And that's okay. You're going to make some adjustments. You'll figure out what you need specifically. Some things that I would look at, bump and rebound in the shocks. Those are definitely things to play with. right rear track bar you can mess with a little bit, but definitely the bump and rebound is going to be where you want to fine tune everything for you. So let's look at some race laps here. Going to look very similar to qualifying. We drive it into one, we rotate it, keep a little bit of throttle positive in there just to keep that nose where we need it. 3 and 4, same thing, right about that elbow there where it kicks out. We're going to throttle up. And we just kind of go. Hickory is one where it's really easy, and you see me doing a little bit of cheating throttle. Just a little bit. But once we get into these laps and we start to really feel good, you won't see me cheat the throttle as much. And all I'm doing with that throttle cheat really is burning off the tires a little bit. It's not really advantageous to have the throttle at, you know, 10, 15% all the time because you're just limiting the transfer of weight. So that's something to look at here. But we're getting into some really good laps here. 114. But as you can see, it's the exact same line from qualifying. Nothing different, just running that queue line the entire time around here. And the big thing is going to be too, so now like talking about, well, how do we pass, right? You guys are all running the same speed. You're all going to have about the same momentum. Going into one, is sometimes an easy spot to pass. You can drive it in a little shallow, a little deeper on someone, but that's a run that if you're going to do that, you really have to start that run here in 3 and 4. And maybe you enter like we did in qualifying, where maybe you enter really high and you just get that really wide arc and you're able to get the throttle down and get a good run time to where once you get down the front stretch, you can get to that rear quarter. And get a little bit of clearance. A lot of times you'll see guys just giving the bumper in the middle of 1 and 2, the middle of 3 and 4. That's how they pass here in real life. So those are kind of some things that you can look at. But really, it's just all about, I think, riding behind someone, timing that run, looking for where they're making mistakes on track and where you can kind of capitalize. And that's something that like you just are going to learn how to do with time and with practice. There's no shame if you're the 9 car and riding around and finishing 6th, right? I always talk about, and this kind of gets back to the base of iRacing, right? If you're the 9 car and you're finishing 6th, that's 3 positions better than where you're supposed to finish. If you're the 1 car and you're finishing 1st, you finished where you're supposed to. If you're the 9 car and you're finishing 4th, that's a win. And so that's things that, guys just really need to kind of think about and progress with as we go. But if you guys have any questions, I'm available in the Team 53 Discord. I'm available in the Coach Dave Discord. You can find us team53racing.com. You can find me, pretty much anywhere on iRacing in Discord. Let me know how you do, and we'll talk to you guys next time.